The Arizona Cardinals finished the 2023 season with a 4-13 record and finished 31st in points allowed per game as they allowed close to 27 points per contest. This was not an ideal season for them, and heading into the year, they knew it was going to be tough sledding as franchise quarterback Kyler Murray tore his ACL in December of the 2022 season. As if it wasn't bad enough that he got hurt so late in the season that he ended up missing the first 9 games of the following year. Without Kyler, the Cardinals went just 1-8 with their lone win coming over the Cowboys, and with Kyler, they would go 3-5. With Kyler at quarterback, they averaged 22.4 points per game, and without him, they averaged just 16.8 points per game, and the difference was substantial. Head coach Jonathan Gannon knew what he was in for when he took this job in February of 2023, and he knew that it was always going to be a long-term rebuild. We're going to see the start of that this offseason, and the Cardinals can completely change their franchise this offseason. How can they do that? Well, we're going to break everything down in today's video, so let's dive right in. Starting with the Cardinals' free agency outlook, and entering free agency, they have the 9th most cap space at $41 million, and when you factor in the signees from the 2024 draft class, that has Arizona around $30.5 million entering the offseason. They allowed the second most points per game in the NFL in 2023, and they will need to spend money on defense, and when you think about where Jonathan Gannon came from before taking the Cardinals job, what did the 2022 Eagles have on the defensive side of the ball? Pass rush. Not just pass rush, but pass rush on pass rush. They had 4 players have double-digit sacks, and their dominance started with the interior defensive line in Javon Hargrave, who of course is now a 49er, and it worked outside from there. Hassan Reddick had a great year in 2022, but it started inside with Hargrave and veteran Fletcher Cox. We've went in depth on the channel before about how good Justin Madubuike is for the Ravens, and I do think the Ravens should make it the utmost priority to retain him this offseason, but the Cardinals can outbid Baltimore. Even if Justin isn't the answer for Arizona this offseason, well, this defensive line class in free agency is loaded this year, and they could turn to the Dolphins' Christian Wilkins. Wilkins is a disruptor on the interior, and he had 98 total tackles as a defensive lineman in 2022 and had 9 sacks in 2023, along with 23 quarterback hits. Wilkins is 28 years old and could play in Arizona for the next 3 years and take it on a year-by-year basis from there. I love the idea of Christian Wilkins in this defense for a few reasons, but the number one reason, of course, is it is a substantial upgrade from what they currently have. So of the $30.5 million the Cardinals have, we can reasonably expect 20 to 22 per year to go to Wilkins, and per overthecap.com, we can free up 16 more million by cutting DJ Humphries post June 1st. So from $8 million available, which is $30 million minus 22 allocated to Christian Wilkins, we would go back up over $24 million available for free agents, and there are several possibilities from there. Admittedly, for this next part, the Cardinals would need some luck, but both Jalen Johnson and L'Jarius Sneed are free agents, and both corners are 27 years old or younger and just had great years. In fact, Jalen Johnson had a passer rating of just 33.3 when targeted and allowed just 195 receiving yards for the entire year. This is per PFF, by the way. There is a very real possibility the Cardinals leave free agency with both Christian Wilkins and Jalen Johnson and go from there, because remember, they have the money to be able to do this. I am all about a team building through the draft, which we will soon get to, and supplementing through free agency, and if they can bring in both of these guys, well, this is a start for a team that didn't have a lot going for them in 2023, and that's really putting it mildly. I also liked what the Cardinals did in the 2023 draft, and I thought they got better while also drafting for tomorrow with their second round pick, and that was LSU pass rusher BJ Ojulari. I loved Ojulari in the draft process and thought the Cardinals got a steal in the second round, and in relatively limited playing time in his rookie year, BJ finished second on the team in sacks and showed flashes of the player he can be. He was also a 21-year-old rookie, and there is a lot of room for improvement for a guy like Ojulari. Entering the 2024 draft, I really think the Cardinals are in the driver's seat, because if the Patriots take Jaden Daniels from LSU, then they will sprint to the podium and draft Marvin Harrison Jr., who is one of the best receiving prospects you'll ever find. I announced this in a video recently, but we will be doing a breakdown on Marvin as a prospect and what he does well and why he will be a great player at the NFL level, and the answer to what he does well is, well, pretty much everything. But if the Patriots choose Marvin Harrison Jr. at number 3 overall because of how bad their receivers were in the 2023 season, which is a completely plausible thought by the way, as the Pats' leading receiver was Pop Douglas, who had just 561 receiving yards, well, this gives Arizona a chance to trade back so that a team can come up and get Jaden Daniels. Whether that would be trading with the Giants at 6, the Falcons at 8, the Vikings at pick 11, or either of the Broncos at 12 or Raiders at 13, the Cardinals are going to have options because these 5 teams will need to address the position at some point this offseason. When discussing this possibility and all of these teams, we do have to note that one or multiple of these teams could have Kirk Cousins or Baker Mayfield or anybody else for that matter and think they are good for the 2024 season and would have zero interest in trading up. However, I do think at least 2, if not 3 of these teams will be in the market to trade up for a quarterback, and I really think GM Monty Ozenfort has the opportunity to pull a fast one and absolutely fleece a team in this situation. Even if the Giants were the ones to trade up from pick 6, I really think the Cardinals could get an extra 1 in this situation because they could basically dangle this in front of them and say, we have another team on the line and we need your answer now, and in that situation for New York, it's either make the trade or potentially lose out on Jaden Daniels. Yes, there are some stipulations here, like the Giants needing to love Jaden Daniels for this to work out, but I do think the Cardinals could walk out of the 2024 draft with an additional 2025 first, and that is of course dependent upon the Patriots taking Marvin Harrison Jr. In the absolute worst case scenario, which is kind of a hilarious worst case scenario in itself, the Cardinals could just stay at pick 4 and take Malik Nabers from LSU, who I also think is a phenomenal prospect and a guy who will be successful at the NFL level for a long time. Best case, of course, is getting MHJ, but worst case is pairing Malik Nabers with Kyler Murray, which again would probably be a 1,000-yard receiver for the next several years. Now, with the extra money from cutting DJ Humphries, we do have to spend our other first-round pick on an offensive lineman, but that's okay because this is a deep tackle class. For anyone who may not know or remember, the reason the Cardinals have an extra first-round pick is because of a trade they made with the Texans on the night of the 2023 draft. Arizona had pick 3 and Houston had pick 12, and Houston traded pick 12 to go up and get Will Anderson while Arizona received their 2024 first-round pick. Now, the absolute pipe dream for Arizona would be to have Georgia's Amarius Mims fall to them at pick 27, but I don't think that's realistic, and that's definitely not something you should count on if you are a Cardinals fan. I think Mims' range is anywhere from 17 to 23, but a player I could see falling to Arizona is, well, Arizona's Jordan Morgan. Morgan was a 3-year starter for Arizona at left tackle, and at this point, I do think he will be a first-round pick. Because he hasn't made the transition to right tackle and Paris Johnson already has, you could just have Morgan stay at left tackle and keep Paris at right, or if Jordan Morgan is not the pick, there's a right tackle prospect I really like from Oklahoma, and that's Tyler Guyton. Guyton is a 6'7", 330-pound mountain of a man with a near 7-foot wingspan, and in this scenario, Paris could go back to the left side of the line, where he was extremely dominant during his final year at Ohio State, and I really think the Cardinals can, and will, walk out of the first round with a receiver that will be there for a while, and we'll leave it at that, and have both tackles taken care of for the next few years. That, of course, is without mentioning having the quarterback in place, and in today's NFL, having a quarterback and both tackles and a true number 1 receiver is almost a prerequisite for success. Also, yes, I know the Chiefs just won back-to-back Super Bowls without a true number 1, as Tyreek has been a Dolphin for 2 years, but having a first-ballot Hall of Fame tight end kind of makes up for that. Not to say Trey McBride is a future first-ballot Hall of Famer, of course, but I really like the trio of Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Trey McBride entering the 2024 season. One other player I would love for the Cardinals to get in the early second round, because remember Arizona has 3 top 35 picks, is Iowa State corner TJ Tampa. Acquiring Jalen Johnson and TJ Tampa in one offseason, as well as Christian Wilkins and another year of development of BJ Ojulari, is leaps and bounds better than what they fielded in 2023. From the offensive side of the ball, what I think people forget is how well they ran the football at the end of the season. Arizona ran for 150 or more yards as a team in 4 4 of the final 5 games in 2023 and 200 or more in 3 of the final 4 games. While this running back class does not have a Bijan Robinson or a Jahmyr Gibbs, I really like a few guys Arizona could target in the late 3rd round or early 4th round area. 2 of my favorite backs in this class are big boys, and they are Notre Dame's Audric Estime and Wisconsin's Braylon Allen. Audric is 5'11 and nearly 230 pounds, but is not as slow as a normal 230-pound back. He's definitely not going to get confused with Chris Johnson, but he moves very well for his size. I know James Conner just had a 1,000-yard year, but he will be 29 years old at the start of the 2024 season, and Father Time is undefeated, and he plays a position with a shorter shelf life as it is. I would love for them to invest one of their picks between 90, 105, or 137 in a running back to try and take some of the load off of James Conner in 2024. This has not been addressed yet in the video, so I will go ahead and formally say this, but I would be extremely surprised if Marquise Brown is a Cardinal in 2024. If you have watched the channel for a few months, then you may remember a video I made a couple of months ago talking about players getting paid this offseason, and I thought the Cardinals would bring back Marquise inevitably due to the 1st round pick they gave up for him during the 2022 draft. However, that was under a different regime, and Arizona has 6 picks in the top 100 this year, and Marvin Harrison Jr. as a rookie will probably be better than Hollywood is or was at any point in his career. If Steve Keim were still the GM, it may be a different story, but I think Arizona is more than fine heading into 2024 with a duo of MHJ and Michael Wilson, who had over 550 yards as a rookie in 2023, and of course Trey McBride, who led the team with over 800 yards. With how well Arizona ran the ball at the end of the year, having another big back behind James Conner to me is only beneficial, because while Conner is getting rest on the sideline, you can have Braylon Allen or Audric Estime out there getting touches and wearing out the defense, because both of these boys, like James Conner, are north of 225 pounds, and in Allen's case, north of 240. If it plays out like this for Arizona entering 2024, they're going to be a nightmare to defend because they would be a very difficult team to game plan around. Your best bet would be to load the interior pass rush and hope they get home, or hope they can stop the run against these guys, because Arizona would have an answer for everything. Even within this, if you sell out to stop the pass, we all know Kyler can extend the play and make an opposing defense's life hell, or run the ball for a 1st down by himself. Everyone will look at what Houston did last offseason and wonder if anybody can repeat what they did in terms of a 1-year turnaround. While I don't think Arizona will have that level of success they did this past year, I think they or Chicago can be the team to improve the most from 23 to 24. Arizona already has the quarterback position figured out, and that's half the battle a lot of the time. I like what Monty Ozenfort did in his first draft, as he drafted a few good players while also acquiring picks for the future. The time to use those picks is almost here, and I can't wait to see how it plays out. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please like and subscribe, as it helps the channel tremendously, and only about 33% of people watching are subscribed, and it would be very much appreciated. Until next time, please be safe and have a great day. Love you guys.